Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Candidates Forum. This forum is sponsored and presented by the Jackson County Development Association. Tonight's forum will feature candidates seeking the offices of jailer, sheriff, and constables. Tonight we are providing an opportunity for candidates who will lead Jackson County over the next 4 years to present their vision as to why that they have chosen to seek a particular office, and to educate you and I as we make our choice on Election Day 2018. Now for the rules for tonight's forum. Beginning, the candidates will have 2 minutes to make an opening statement. We've got a timekeeper, and we will notify the candidates when they have 15 seconds left of their 2 minutes. After the opening statements, we will ask questions in no particular order of the candidates, and the candidates will have 90 seconds for their answer. Again, they will be notified at 1 minute and 15 seconds that they've got 15 seconds left to go. You, the audience, should you have a question, we have some cards in the back of the room on a table, and you can take one of those cards and prepare your question. We ask that you direct the question to an office. Do not direct the question to any one of the candidates. Direct it to either sheriff, jailer, or constable. If there is time at the end of the forum tonight, we will ask as many of those questions that are submitted to the box as possible. So just prepare your question and put it in the box back there, and then at some point it'll be delivered up here to me. All candidates who registered to run for an office in the May primary were invited to be here. However, it is the candidate's choice whether or not to participate in this forum. The Development Association would like to thank the candidates and their families for their commitment that they have made to serve the citizens of Jackson County. We ask you, the audience, to keep unnecessary noise to a minimum, and we thank you for being here. A huge thank you goes to PRTC Television for making this live at home tonight, and between now and May 22nd, this will probably be showed on TV 4 or 5 times. We do not have any scheduled breaks tonight. With all this said, it's time to begin with the candidates making their introductions. And we'll start over here with Charlie Ward. Charlie, you got 2 minutes.
I'm Charlie Ward, a candidate for jailer Jackson County. I have over 7 years experience working at the detention center. I'm currently serving as the Jackson County jailer to complete the term of the late Bill Dunn. My previous position was chief deputy at the jail, and I'm currently fulfilling both duties of both positions at this time. I've been a resident of Jackson County my entire life. I've been involved in a lot of activities in the county, the fire departments, and any fundraisers. I was previously employed with the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, serving as a deputy, chief deputy, and court security supervisor. I'm asking for your vote and support in this upcoming election. I've dedicated most of my life to the people in Jackson County of serving them, and I will continue to do the best of my abilities. I'm the most experienced candidate, I think, for the jailer, Jackson County jailer.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Smith. I got a nickname as Magoo. Everybody probably knows me as that. I'm a resident of Jackson County all my life. My mom and dad was Hugh and Ruby Smith of McKee. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. And I also have 2 kids with 4 grandkids. My two kids' names are Malachi and Cheska Barrett. And I have 4 grandkids and 1 on the way. And I'm running for jailer of Jackson County. And I would appreciate your vote, your support. If you're not obligated to someone, I sure do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Appreciate y'all having us here tonight. My name's Charlie Russell. I'm running for the position of Jackson County Jailer. Been involved in the county for 18 years or 13 years as a fireman here inside the county as a volunteer. That's where I began my work as a public servant, and from there I started working as a career firefighter in Berea. I started there as a lieutenant, supervised men on and off calls, make sure things is done in and out of the station. We provide a service trying to keep the community safe. We get out and educate, talk to the community, see what their concerns is. By doing that, we've cut down on a lot of incidents with fires and accidents, stuff like that. By getting out and educating, I think that we can help our community by starting in the schools and educating who the ones that are incarcerated to maybe better their lives and get them back home. If you're not obligated, I appreciate your help on May the 22nd. Remember Charlie Russell for Jackson County Jailer. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brian Gabbard. I'm a pastor at House of Refuge. I ran electric meters for about 8 years. I've done other work, right-of-way, cut right-of-way for W.A. Kendall. And, of course, I'm running for Jackson County Jailer. I do volunteer some of my time in drug court. I also worked a little bit through Unite. My family's been involved in the jail for many years. My papa was Frosty Gabbard. He was jailer for 17 years. My uncle was Ronnie Gabbard, jailer for 12 years. I've also had probably 17 to 18 years of jail ministry. And the reason I'm running tonight is, as an introduction, is I really have a desire and a passion to not only work for my county, to make this place a better place, make the jail as good as it possibly can, but to help change lives in that jail, to be a positive influence on their lives. As you know, we're living in a time and things have changed a whole lot. And my number one goal in this life is to make a difference in somebody's life. And I think this position would serve me well, and I believe it would for you all also. You got to remember, not all the people in the jail, they've got families also. I've been involved in those things, went to jail, talked to those people. And listen, they're not all bad people. Once they sober up, they have a clear mind, and they can be productive citizens in this county. And that's the number one thing I want to push for, let them know that this county hasn't given up on them. When they get back out of that jail, they're going to have some people to support them and help them. And I want to be there for that. So remember me, May the 22nd. I used 2 minutes. As they said, vote for me if you can. Appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Kyle Davidson. I'm the son of Ronnie Davidson down from Tyner. He owned Greyhawk Construction, Davidson Manufacturing, Eagle Construction. He was also a detective for the 41st District, covering Jackson, Clay, and Leslie County. My mom's name is Linda Williams. She was a waitress Chat and Chew in Marlene's place. And she was also a Head Start teacher's aide when I was growing up. I like just a little bit having an associate's degree in criminal justice. I work at Truett Brothers currently. I've been shift superintendent there for 5 years. I've worked there for a total of 10. I've worked my way up from the bottom to the top. I've had audit experience while working there with many customers and things. I've had a lot of educational experience I believe would benefit me in this job. And I've been working already on some things, trying to get stuff ready. I've got promises from places like the job shop. They'll come in here and help us when inmates get ready to leave. That way they can have a job once they get out of here. I've got promises from places like New Hope in London that can come up here and give them mental health education and try to help them out with their disabilities like that, anger management, drug reinforcement, stuff like that, try to keep them off drugs. I've also got been talking to Somerset Community College, trying to get programs in here to better help the inmates get their GEDs, go into a trade or something like that and help them out in the future. I believe that I'm the best qualified for this job due to my education, my audit experience. I believe people's checkbook should be handled appropriately, and I believe that I should be the best choice for this position. On May 22nd, vote for Kyle Davidson.
Good evening. My name is James Adams. Most of you know me as Junior. I've drove a school bus for 27 years in this county. I've lived here all my life. I ran for the office of jailer 4 years ago. I've been a second shift manager of 2 different positions part-time. I worked my way up from the bottom to the top. I have some computer skills, bookkeeping, trained in special defense for like handling adolescents and adults. My prior job in Berea taught me a lot of education about special needs and how to deal with people with those kind of problems when they have issues that they need to deal with. And I think that some of the inmates might have problems that we have to deal with, and that would be beneficial to know how to deal with those situations. And I'm asking for your vote, May the 22nd. Appreciate you. Junior Adams.
Good evening. My name is Sheriff Paul Hayes. I'm a 38-year veteran of law enforcement. For 25 years I was a trooper with Kentucky State Police and spent most of that time in a command position. For 10 years I served at Operation Unite. Much of that was as Director of Law Enforcement, covering the eastern and southern parts of Kentucky. For the past 3.5 years, I've served as your sheriff. I'm one of 11 children of the late Reverend Ray and Janie Hayes. I've been married for 43 years to my wife, Delena. Her parents are the late Jack Lakes and her 95-year-old mother, Virgie Lakes, who resides with us. Her children are Mandy and her husband, Tim Truitt, and Lindsay and her husband, Jacob Bowling. We have 4 grandchildren, and we all live in Jackson County. When I took over the office in 2015, the office was in significant turmoil. We relocated the sheriff's office from the old jail back to the courthouse. We separated the administrative office from the deputy's office to improve access and security. To reduce cost to our county, we closed the county police force and returned those deputies to the sheriff's office with new direction and purpose. Our officers are subject to random drug tests at any time. We obtained new and used vehicles for our personnel to replace worn-out cars at very little cost to the county. To promote relationships of trust and respect, we closely partner with our constables, our McKee PD, and our KSP. We obtained new equipment for our personnel to improve credibility and effectiveness. We instituted policies and procedures that bring our law enforcement agency into compliance with accepted police practices. We demand our officers show respect and conduct themselves properly on and off duty at all times. There have been no scandals. We work closely with our county police force and with other offices. We've done our best to make Jackson County a place in which we can be proud. I respectfully ask for your prayers and your support to re-elect me as your sheriff. Thank you.
First of all, excuse me, I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me out here tonight. My name's Tim Fee. I am a candidate for the sheriff of Jackson County. I've got like 21 years experience, 9 years as deputy sheriff, 12 years as your sheriff. I'm academy trained. I'm a veteran. I've got an honorable discharge. Back when my sheriff, and I left this county, or I left the office of the sheriff, had about all new equipment, new cars. I think the oldest one may have been 2 years old at the most. All new equipment, all trained officers. We had policies. We followed our policies and procedures. When I bought all these cars, it was zero expense to the county. It's money that I had accumulated through excess fees. I would like to have your support for sheriff. I'm going to try to get out here and battle this crime on drugs here. I mean, no disrespect for nobody in office. Mr. Hayes knows it's a hard task. And, you know, you just have to put both feet down and hit it hard. Thank you.
I'm Devin Rose, born in Chestnut Flat. All my life I've been here. I'm running for constable. I'm nervous about this. I've never talked to about people like this, but if I can get elected, I will make a promise that I will stay in my district where my people, the one that elects me. I work for them. No offense to these fellows up here. If they're in my district and they need my help, I will assist them. But, you know, we've got lots of good people out there that needs help, and we need to stick behind them. And there's several here that I know, you know, they all know me. But I do promise if I get elected, I will stay there. And I will not discard no phone calls. I will answer every phone call. If you need me to come to you, I will come to you. I don't care if it's 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And if you can vote for me on May 22nd, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Thomas Jones. I'm from Sand Gap, running for Constable of District 3. If elected, my plans is to work with the local law enforcement, sheriff's department, local state troopers and stuff for District 3. We've got some back roads and stuff up there that it's hard for the sheriff's department to patrol a whole lot of. And my plans is to help them with the patrol on the back roads and stuff in District 3. So if you can vote for me, I appreciate it. May 22nd.
My name is Billy Buck Abner. Most people know me as Bill Buck. I've been your constable for the last 3 years in District 3. I've spent 3 years working District 3 as hard as I can. And sometimes, yes, I do leave the district to go assist these other officers, to back each other up. That's what it's all about, is to work as 100% and back each other up. I've spent 3 years working as hard as I can, and I would appreciate your vote and support.
Good evening. My name is Steve Gill, currently serving as constable in 2nd District in Jackson County. And first of all, let me say I appreciate your confidence in me over the last 3.5 years. I've tried very hard to keep professionalism and dedication in this office, as it had been for many years. And I've tried my very best to do that. Excuse me. And as some of the others have commented, it's been a team effort. It is a team effort. It's about Jackson County. It's not about District 1, District 2, or District 3. It's about Jackson County. It's about protecting you, keeping you safe, your family safe, your roadways safe. And we've made great strides in that. I feel like we have. You know, maybe patting myself on the back, but not just myself, but all of us. And it's a group effort. It's teamwork. It's a cooperative effort. And like I said, it's an awfully good feeling to be in some dark holler where your cell phone don't work and radio reception is not good, to see a fellow officer coming over the hill with his lights flashing, and I've had that, and that's good. And I'm telling you, and I appreciate it. And I will give you my word, that commitment to teamwork with all the others will continue, and I'll do the best I can to do as good a job as I can. I appreciate your vote, appreciate your confidence in me. Thank you.
Okay, candidates, thank you for your opening comments. I have a series of questions. Probably more than half of the questions that I have are for all offices. The same question, we'll just kind of go right down the line, just as we did with our introductions. And then I have a few other questions that'll be directed specific to the office. Again, you will have 90 seconds to answer the question when I ask, and the clock doesn't start, so to speak, until you start. So if you need to think just for a couple of seconds about how you're going to answer that, don't start speaking until you're ready for the clock to start. Okay? The first question, And we'll start right in the middle with Tim Fee. All of us have had what we call life experiences. Tell us of one or more life experience that you have had that best prepares you for the office that you're seeking.
Well, number one, I'm academy trained. I'm a proven leader through the military. I was honorably discharged as a sergeant, as a leader there. I don't know, there's just many things I can start from, but, you know, my war on drugs, I guess I could say, as far as when I was sheriff before. I'm the one that started the war on the drug business. And if you want to reflect back as to when I was sheriff, it just every week or so, one meth lab after another one's taken down. Of achievements and things, I think that was one of my biggest. I was notorious for taking and solving burglaries, thefts, patrolling the counties, patrolling the businesses with people trying to shut down, putting their money away, provide security, stuff of that nature there. Notorious for taking and eradicating marijuana. I mean, I don't know, it's a good work relationship with the people, bottom line.
Go ahead, Paul.
Read the question again for me, please.
The question is, all of us have had what we call life experiences. Tell us of one or more life experience that you have had that best prepares you for the office that you're seeking.
When I was a young man, one of my brothers was walking home from work after he got off work, and he was run over and killed by a drunk driver. He was in a parking lot, and the cause of his death was no fault of his. But that was a life-changing event for me because it really destroyed our family. And we began thinking about that. How can we keep other people from going through something that awful? So I went and seen a gentleman, and he's actually in the room with us tonight. His name was Sergeant Bill Williamson, and he gave me some advice on how to prepare myself to become a trooper at some time. He said to go ahead and get your education, prepare yourself, make sure you conduct yourself properly, and then when the time is right, you can apply for the state police. I did those things, and I went through the state police through the ranks. Every one of those officers was competitive. I had to compete for them. I was successful and ended up being a post commander at two different posts, commander of the special response team and a commander of the intelligence section for a period of time. So everything that I've did in those areas has been a preparation for life and for what we're trying to do. We have learned how to conduct ourselves properly, how to run an office efficiently, and how to do the things that matter to make our county better. We work with our children and our elderly in particular, and everything we do is designed to try to make our county safe, secure, and give our kids a good quality of life.
Steve Gill.
Well, I would have to say that, my interaction with people all my life, as a manager, supervisor, foreman in the capacity I worked, and also I always liked a challenge. I did. I always looked at things and tried to make them better. That was one of the things that I've throughout my life have tried very hard to do. And again, I like a challenge, and I have just, when I was a manager with the railroad, I saw things that were bad, and I wanted to make them better. And I like to think I did that. I made changes. I'll take credit for that. And I made changes that made things better. So I think my interaction with the people that I worked with and been around all my life, it just challenged me to make things better. And I guess in general, you could say that is what I base my life on. The reward that comes from helping somebody, giving to somebody, making things better is just good for me, and I think that's that would be a life-changing thing for me. Thank you.
I guess the life-changing experience that prepared me was my children, more than any. Wanting to see them protected, taken care of. The drugs are just tremendous. Unless you're out there dealing with them every night, you really don't understand what's there. And it's an extreme job. I mean, it's a stress on all of us to deal with it. But my children would be the biggest point of all of it, as well as my father. He served as District 3 constable for 12 years as well. So I try to follow along.
About 4 years ago, I joined the Sand Gap Fire Department, and dealing with the community through the fire department, I really enjoy dealing with the community. I love the people in my community, and I would like to become their constable so I can help and work with them more than I do with just the fire department. Thank you.
It was several years ago. This little girl went missing right there around my neck of the woods, and we hunted for her all night. And that's when I realized, I wanted to try to help my community more. And, we found her. She was good. This young man was with us. And I just think I could be a good help in our end. I've not got nothing bad to say about Bill Buck. I like Bill Buck and everything. I just think I would be a better choice. But that little girl, I still think about it every time, her going missing, laying in that creek down there all night. So, that's what, how can I put it, drives me to want to help, but thank you.
Junior Adams.
Well, I would have to say that my life-changing experience would be responsibility. In September of 1990, when I woke up the first morning to drive a school bus, I took on a job of great responsibility. And to me, there is no better life-changing experience than having to grow up and accept that responsibility. Taking care of somebody else's most precious cargo is probably the hardest thing to do. And when you're doing this, you have to take on the task of being a responsible person. And that would be the most life-changing experience I've ever had.
I can come up with several things right off the top of my head. Number one would be leadership at work. Like I said before, I started at the bottom and I've worked my way up. At any given time, I've got 3 to 4 supervisors underneath me, 50 to 100 people that I directly supervise and deal with every day, plus making sure that all the product we manufacture is safe for the consumer. I've had a lot of experience with the volunteer fire department. I'd been on the fire department at Pond Creek for 10 years. I've been off there for a little while due to raising children and working a lot of hours. I know how to stretch a dollar. I was raised poor. Growed up eating a lot of soup beans, a lot of spaghetti, a lot of really cheap stuff, because Mom couldn't afford to give us a whole lot. There was myself and my nieces and nephews. We're all the same age. That's kind of strange, but we was all the same age and we was all living in the same apartment together at Rocky Hill. So I understand what it means to have to stretch a dollar, and I believe we can do that at the jail also. Education. I've got, like I said before also, I like just a little bit having a associate's degree in criminal justice. Most of that is focused on corrections itself. It's got some psychology mixed into it. It also has some business-related classes mixed into it. But I believe that would be what would best qualify me and best prepared me for the office.
A couple of things. I sat here and thought, number one thing is what I'm doing currently as a pastor and a preacher. I don't think people realize, I was thinking earlier today, that we don't just sit in the choir and sing songs with the saints. I've saw a lot of bad things. I've saw a lot of people struggle. I've saw people come into my church high on drugs. I've saw good parents, good God-fearing people come to me, meet me on the streets of McKee with tears running down their eyes saying, pray for my child. He's on drugs. And whether you know this or not, there's some good, God-fearing parents out there with children on drugs. And I've had to go to homes with people suicidal, children suicidal, hold hands, hug people crying who's lost their children. I've seen a lot of bad things, and I've seen some good things come out of those bad things. Another one right quick is drug court. I got into drug court, not bragging about it. I've never been drunk or high in my entire life. When I got into drug court, I thought, Lord, how can I help anybody in this, or in drug court? And I figured out real quickly that I wasn't put there just to help them. But during my span in drug court, I found out that I was put there to help me. I found out these people are human beings. Until that, I thought they was a good and a bad. But I found out there is some good in everybody. A lot of people don't believe that. But my time in drug court has changed me. I believe it helped prepare me for this office.
I guess my life experience is actually going to work as a fireman, whether it be volunteer or being on the paid side of things. Being out there and having to make a split-second decision to either help somebody that's in need, to get them the help they need at that time and get them transported somewhere to where you can make a difference in them as far as their life set. Having the courage to be a witness out there on scene, because sometimes we don't see people at their best. So by talking to them and being a witness to them, working them through their problems, and being there after the fact, because I've actually worked some scenes and been there for some people after an incident, and go back and talk to them and check on them, and they really appreciate that. More life experiences is just being able to do like sufficient in-house training at the detention center with the employees. First off and foremost is we got to make sure that everybody up there that's working at the detention center are safe. We got to keep those inmates safe as well. And then first of all and foremost is we got to get out there and keep our community safe. So by doing that, working together, working with physical court and other state officials, we can make a difference and by working together.
My life experience is I've been a construction worker since I was 18 years old, and about 45 years in construction. And for the past 20 years, I started my own little business of drywall. I run drywall crews. I have to hire people that are, I guess, less fortunate and addictions that they can't control, and they had no way of employment. And I've worked them, and I've earned their trust, and so I have changed their lives tremendously. Not bragging or anything like that. It's just a wonderful feeling to know that you have done something for someone that they will succeed more in life. And that's the main goal of my life, is to help someone else. And I thank you so much.
I guess my main life-changing thing was when I went to work at the jail 7 years ago. We was in the old jail over here, and it was real dark, and you couldn't do a whole lot in there. And we moved up to the new jail, and it was a different atmosphere. We have inmates now that comes from all over the state there. And we was running about 30-some inmates over here, and now we run around 100 inmates a day. And every one of them's got a brother, sister, mother, father, aunt, or uncle. And everybody's got concerns. And whenever you have a child that comes in there the night before and somebody calls the next morning and they look at you and they'll say, are they all right? And that's a life-changing thing when somebody is calls and asks if their child is all right. And it's the jailer's job is something that's a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. I mean, you go home with the night or the evenings to take you a break, and you're worried about this person that just come in that you've seen. And I have guards all the time that calls back of the 9 when they get off their shift and asked if that person is all right, if they checked, has anybody checked on them last few minutes, if they talked to them. And that's been a real life-changing experience, just to being at the jail involved with these people. Thank you.
Okay, this next question, again, is for the entire group. And we'll start with Devin Rose. Please tell us of at least one example of how your office can work cooperatively with other offices in an effort to make Jackson County a better place to live and work.
You're saying my office work with the...
How can the constable's office work with other offices in Jackson County, the sheriff's department, the jailers, the judge's office, the physical court? How can the constables work cooperatively with the other offices to make Jackson County a better place for its citizens?
Well, sorry about that. We need to work together on all this. I mean, drugs has just took over. I mean, if they're in my district and they need me, I'll go to them. And if I find something, I would notify them and say, hey, if that's what you're asking, but I would work with them and work with the state police. There's so much going on out there. It's a crying shame. And, and if they got some information for me, want me, to guide me in the right direction on certain things, I would listen to them. I don't know how to answer that.
You just have to get with the sheriff's department, work with local law enforcement stuff in your district, if needed, to go assist outside of it or whatever. You'll have to step up and go assist outside. But more than anything, that I can see with the constables, part of it would be working with the local sheriff's department and KSP.
I would have to say, like it is right now, I work close with the sheriff's department. I work extremely close with other constables. We go countywide. Wherever somebody's needed, that's where we go. We always back each other up 100% and patrol these roads to make the county better. Whether it be during broad daylight or it be late night when everybody's mostly in bed, that's usually when the other stuff's going on, and that's when we try to be out more than any. So we just have to continue working together to make everything better.
Yes, I think we've already mentioned about teamwork and working together, and working with the sheriff's department, with the county district magistrates to watch for trees in the roads, bad places in the roads, unsafe conditions. Again, the judge's office, when we need repairs for a car, tires, oil change, whatever that might be, and it's worked well. And I can tell you this, I can give you this from very personal experience. When I took this job 3.5 years ago, there was not hardly a night, not one night hardly, that you didn't get out more than once, 2 or 3 times. You'd finally have to call dispatch and just tell them, I got a rest. But listen, in the last 6 months, these other guys will agree with me. It has got much better. You'll get a week sometimes that you won't get a call after midnight, And I understand the sheriff's department takes a lot of them, but there was a time we was flooded. I attribute this to teamwork, being out, being seen, patrol, working together, and it's working. Thank you.
Charlie Ward. The question is, tell us of at least one example of how your office can work cooperatively with other offices in an effort to make Jackson County a better place to live and work.
Well, we just have done the new budget this year, passed the fiscal court meeting, and we've cut the budget $200,000 for the jail this past year. I've been working on the schedule and going to be moving some people around in positions, and I can save another $52,000 a year. I've got it already in line to get set, to get everybody switched around, and I work every day at anything I can to save money for the jail. We've got a classification system for state inmates that we get in that consists of their health conditions, what classifications they're going to be. The jailer's job is just continuously, you've got to get everything together on it to save every dime we can for the county.
This is a question hard for someone that's never been in there to answer. But the things that I've heard about the debts that's owed, expense, I think that if you'd work with the physical court and with anything that they come up with, or come up with the same, general ideas of how to cut the budget to help it out, I think that would be the only thing that I could possibly say if you've never been in there to experience what it's happening. So I thank you.
One example that I can think of right off hand would be using our work release inmates to keep the county clean and safe because of people discarding used needles and that kind of stuff off the side of the road. We have children that play out here, and especially like in the parks and stuff. Our parks and our other areas that are around are not exempt from drug-related activity. So if we can have these inmates and other people who are overseeing those people to keep those parks and recreational areas clean and these dump sites clean, it's going to beautify Jackson County, and it's going to have people to say, hey, let's come to Jackson County. It's a beautiful place. I've seen people starting to move in here from out of town after I've been out and about and starting to meet people. We have a lot of people moving in here because they like Jackson County because it's a nice, clean, quiet place. And if we can keep that, we can grow this county, we can get jobs, and if we have to cut the budget with the jail or any other area, we just got to work with the physical court. We got to make sure that that doesn't compromise our safety to our community leader or to our community or anyone else.
Well, some's probably always said, I think the number one thing is communication. Communication with each other, communication with the physical court. To not go into any office thinking you know everything about it. It's my way or no way. To be stubborn. But to take ideas from one another. Even if it's not my idea, if it sounds like a good idea, to try it. And I believe, as it says, united we stand, divided we fall. If we pull against each other, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt our individual office. But if we can work together, as they said with the budget, and communicate with the physical court, not have any secrets, hide anything. If there's something there that doesn't need to be there, get it out of the way. Take blame, take credit, whatever you need to do. But I think probably the number one thing is to communicate with one another and let each other know where we stand. And if physical court's got an idea, maybe I've got an idea and they say, hey, we tried this and it didn't work. Not to be stubborn and say, well, we're going to do it anyway, but work together with one another. And I think the reason most of us are here, and maybe all of us, is to help our county. I've lived here my entire life, and I've tried to dedicate my adult life to helping one another. And if we can't work together, then we shouldn't even be running for these offices.
Well, everybody else has said it, so I'm going to say it too. You need teamwork. The goal is to work as one. You need communication, not just with the fiscal court and other offices, but we need communication within the community with the people. This is no way a one-man show no matter what office you got. Everybody has a responsibility in this county to say what you think is right. All the offices need to work together and make sure we're all fiscally responsible, and if we're not, if we're having issues, to ask for help. We need to attack the root cause of the issues we have in this county, whether for the jail, for example, you know, we have a lot of drugs, a lot of crime, a lot of people that's had some mistakes happen that need help. We need to attack the root cause as a group and find solutions to their problems so they can make sure that we're getting people educated and bringing jobs to the community and things like that. But I think really the main thing is making sure that everybody in the community has a say, having an open door for everybody. It don't matter time, day, or night, that you can come in and say if you got an idea, it might be the greatest idea ever and nobody in this room ever think of it. I think that's a great thing.
Well, I would have to say that, again, communication with the other departments would be the major plus. You would need to work with the constables and the sheriff's department and getting the prisoners processed and out of their vehicles in a timely manner so they can get back out on the roads and do their parole or their patrols. And working with the circuit court clerk's office and getting the paperwork and everything processed for court systems. And you'd also need to work with the fiscal court and on the budget and make sure that everything is like it's supposed to be and things are being spent where they need to be spent on and not wasted.
Paul Hayes. The question is, tell us of at least one example of how your office can work cooperatively with other offices in an effort to make Jackson County a better place to live and work.
We've tried to work with every agency as long as I've been in office. We have worked with our law enforcement partners throughout the county to try to improve effectiveness for everyone. We worked with social services to make sure that our social service workers are able to go to homes to be safe and make sure that those children and those adults are safe. We work with our drug court and with Operation Unite to try to provide vouchers for people who are struggling with drug addiction that can't afford to have the treatment they may necessarily need. We work with our needy children on a Stuff the Cruiser program to make sure that our children are provided, the ones that are especially needy can have some kind of Christmas that'll make them happy and content and safe. And we work specifically with our schools to try to address the issues of safe schools, to make sure our students and our teachers are protected and safe as they go to those schools. We think that's very important.
Tim.
In my opinion, unity, trust, and respect for one another. I had a great work relationship with the state police, constables, city police at the time, DEA, National Guard. One of the biggest things I think we could do to help the county, we need to get out and assess the problem areas. Once we assess the problem areas, come back and talk with one another. See what we can do to stop the problem or help the problems. Problem solving is a big thing out there. You know, there's so many things people want and it's not getting done, and we just need to band together as one big team and combat it as best as we can.
Okay, thank you. This next question will be directed to just the jailers. And Junior, we'll start with you. In recent years, the jail has been very involved in utilizing inmates to assist various county groups with things like cleanup, mowing public areas, preparation for county fair, and other public events. Do you as jailers support this type of service? And do you have ideas of how that you could build and expand this service?
Yes, sir. I do support this service. I think it's a great effort to get the inmates out and to do work along the sides of the roads. However, it can be more utilized, I guess, to use them in different spots. We have several cemeteries in the county that needs to be cleaned, mowed and upkept. That's not been done, and that would be a good job for the inmates. You know, it show respect to people coming to visit our county, how we respect our people and take pride in our county. We could also use our inmates to clean up around the lake area when the water's down. It would help purify the water that we use every day. Yes, I strongly support that, and I would do everything I can to improve upon it.
Well, I would absolutely support, the inmates getting out here and working, trying to improve our community, the looks of our community, and better themselves at the same time. I think it's very important that they can get out here and see the good they can do and the good that other people does as well. As far as expanding on that, that would be something I'd really have to think about for a few minutes. Like James said here, he had some good ideas with lake cleanup and roadside pickup and stuff like that. I'd like to see maybe more of that, more often. There's no point in them sitting in a cell somewhere and just wasting away or killing time with their feet kicked up or anything. They should have a job, they should have some responsibility so that maybe they would retain that when they leave.
Absolutely, I support all the things they do. I've been out in the community. I've saw them picking up trash. I've been in the funerals, saw them digging graves for funerals and helping the families, and I'm all in support of that. And also, to think about that, it's not only benefiting our county and our community, which it is, but it is also benefiting the inmates. Like they said, I don't know about you, but if you've visited jail, been in there, you can go in, you can leave. They stay in that small cell just to get out and see the sunlight, to be able to talk to one another, to be able to move around. And any job you've ever done in your life, if you can look back and see you've accomplished something, it makes you feel good. Even with these inmates, when they go down one of these roads and pick up that trash and they turn and they look back, and they can see the job they've done, I think it builds pride in them. And also with the cemeteries and the graves, I've talked to people out in the public. You wouldn't believe how much this has helped families save costs in their lives also. As far as building this, we just, as we said earlier, we've got to communicate with one another. If there's ideas that pop up, we're going to try it and do the best that we can, not only for our county but also for the inmates. And I think that goes a long, long ways in the time that they serve.
Care to repeat the question?
The question is that in recent years, the jail has been very involved in utilizing inmates to assist various county groups with cleanup projects, mowing public lands, preparation for county fairs, and other public events. Do you as jailer support this type of service, and do you have ideas of how that you could build and expand this service?
I totally agree with the work release program throughout the county. It don't only clean up our county, like picking up the trash, getting out in our parks, giving the inmates something to do, but the other thing too is it helps cut costs. It keeps them healthy. It keeps them moving. If you have a healthy, happier inmate, they're less to do other things while they're incarcerated. It gives them a little sense of pride and accomplishment. Several of them over the years has worked at different programs. I talked to some people out in the community the other day, and everybody passes it probably once or twice a week, and one of these days that inmate who worked there on this project can look back and say, I helped build that. And it instills pride and accomplishment in those folks too. So yes, I believe getting those inmates out, keeping them working in the community will be great. If we can use them right here at the courthouse when we have snows, keep the sidewalks clean, have where they can come in and out at us to do our business, they actually see, they can see them working in our community, and actually see them taxpayers' dollars at work.
Yes, I do agree with it tremendously. I worked a boy, his name was Garrett Isaacs. He used to work at the jail, and he would always tell me about the inmates, how that he enjoyed taking them out to work because they enjoyed it. They also enjoyed being out, period. But the thing of it was, he said that the cemeteries and stuff that they would go around and clean, and I believe I've had lots of people ask me, if I was jailer, would I still, continue to mow the cemeteries and the banks and things that they couldn't get to? And I said, definitely I would. And it would also, it helps make money for the county for picking up state roads. If I'm not badly fooled, that's the way I understand it. So yes, I agree with it, and more, it'd be wonderful just to have more of it and go from there.
I've probably got a little more information on these other guys here where I'm involved with the jail. The state inmate has to be classified to where they can go out. Different classifications is not allowed out of the secured part of the jail. Right now we have a 20 bunk cell that's a work release cell, and we keep those in there. We average about 50 to 60 state inmates per day. And we have 12 that goes out every day on the state highway crew, and then we have 2 guards that goes out with those, which we're reimbursed by the state highway for those 2 guards. That was implemented when we went to the new jail. Former jailer Bill Dunn was in on getting that going. We have 2 right now that's going out every day with the Parks and Recreation to mow the parks, and then we've got 3, which is a county crew that's they're the ones that's baling the cardboard at the recycling station, which is making the county money there to run the transfer station on. And then they do various other things, help at the food bank, they mow cemeteries, they dig graves. And then we have 5 workers that works inside the jail that works in the kitchen area. And the size of our jail would be hard to expand the work release program.
Okay, thank you. This question will be directed to the sheriff's candidates. And Paul, we'll start with you. What is Jackson County's biggest sign of hope? And how will you as sheriff use this for the better of your office and for the greater of Jackson County?
The biggest sign of hope is the children that we have in our county. We have the greatest children on earth. These kids are going to school, they're getting better educated. We've got great teachers in great schools. These kids are getting a great opportunity to succeed in life. They're given good direction as they grow up. And there's a lot of people in our community that are contributing to that besides just necessarily the parents. And so I'm thankful for that. What we have to do to continue that process is to make sure that we do, as parents and as community people, we do everything in our power to try to encourage the public to get involved with things that are important to our children, to keep them away from the illegal drugs, to keep them on the right track to a good education, and to keep them on the right track to being responsible adults. They need to learn the importance of behavior, the importance of trying, the importance of discipline, and all these things are important if they're going to be successful. But I think that our future is in our children. The billboard that I have up in two or three different places has children around that. And the reason I do that is because, in my view, there's nothing more important than I can do than to help these kids have a chance at life, and that's what I believe.
I'll agree with Paul on the youth of our children out here. It is very important that we try to get involved, teach them the right fundamentals in life. Something we're lacking here in this county is something for our children to do. You know, they've got so much idle time on their hands to get into mischief, whereas there's nothing in Jackson County, hardly no activities for them. There's no work here. Therefore, I feel that would go back to our county judge and our physical court to bring stuff like that in here. Our objective would be keeping things secured for them, security. Another thing I think we need to focus a whole lot on is the drug problems. I'm not for taking the person to jail and smacking him on the hand, saying shoe fly shoe, go send them more. I'm for putting him in jail where he belongs, you know. Get these people off of our streets. Bottom line, it's time Jackson County puts their feet down. We're sick of it. People in this county are sick of the drug problem. Thank you.
Okay, the next question that I have will be for the entire group again, and we'll start with Steve Gill. Steve, the office which you are seeking has a list of duties. In the business world, we would call this a job description. Most of the time, this job description contains the minimum duties required to get the job done. Considering that you will do all the minimum and expected duties, what is the one thing that you would add to your duties that brings added value to Jackson County?
Well, I think it would be the follow-up in certain instances, certain cases, especially children, single moms. Just we had an incidents a few nights ago, a lady with 2 small children, she'd been assaulted, and anyway, to go back and follow up later on, that night, we stayed a long time, but actually we went back and I actually personally contacted and called these people and follow up, and I believe by doing that, going above and beyond what you're expected to do. But our number one job is public safety. I mean, we're here to try to make it better for everybody in Jackson County, and as I have stated before, it's working. It's getting better. I can tell you that from experience, because we don't get near as many calls as we had for the in the last 6 months that we did 3 years prior. But to me, to follow up that personal attention that you give in certain instances, that lets people know you are concerned, and returning the calls that you get, follow up. Don't miss a call back, let them know you're interested. Thank you.
I agree with Steve on that. We've got to continue what we're doing and to add a little more to it and go above and beyond. It's like last week, I responded to 2 different domestic violence situations. I also followed up on those later. I responded a couple weeks ago to a welfare check on children. After that was taken care of and done, I actually transported one of the children and all the other children, once I got them to the residence. My trunk is full of toys. Every little kid around knows, you get my trunk open, you get toys. They've all learned that. So they'll holler, here comes the cop with the toys. And that's the big thing. As long as these children are not scared of us and do that, that's a big asset to us, because they grow up being able to come to us instead of running from us.
I agree with hanging out with the children more and having a part with them. But then you've also got the elderly that's out there. Why not drive by and check on them a little more often?
Well, our elderly, our children, I mean, we got neighbors and stuff that lives by some of these, I don't really want to say it the way, dealers and stuff, it would be good to go by and just check on all of the ones that lives around that stuff, because you never know what's going to go on at the house next door, and just be more involved with the whole bunch. I mean, just there's a lot of stuff we could do to help.
Tim Fee. Same question.
What was the question?
The question is, the office that you're seeking, the sheriff's office, has a list of duties. In the business world, we would call this list of duties a job description. Most of the time, the job description contains the minimum duties required to get the job done. Considering that you're going to do all of the minimum and expected duties, what would you add to that list of duties that brings added value to Jackson County?
Well, right now, extra patrol and cleaning the drugs from the street. If you want to get down to the duties, the sheriff's duties is a tax collector. He's a servant of the court. He's a servant of the people. And there's so much stuff out there. One of our biggest things I would like to work on, not only the drug problem, is our burglaries and thefts. I mean, it's gotten out of hand. You got people out here that's hooked on drugs. They're not going to work. They want to go steal yours, mine, our neighbors' stuff to sell to support their habits. I think if we concentrate on that right there and try to take that off of the street, and that would be a big asset to our county. You know, I'm a firm believer of war on drugs. That's my goal, war on drugs.
Repeat that one more time for me.
The office which you are seeking has a list of duties. In the business world, we call this a job description. Most of the time, the job description contains the minimum duties required to get the job done. Considering that you will do all the minimum and expected duties, what is the one thing that you would add to those duties that brings added value to Jackson County?
Now, all the public knows that every day our police officers are expected to get out and look for drugs. We are expected to try to do everything to keep our roads safe and our highways safe. One of the things that we can do to make that better for our communities is to improve on our school safety, to make sure our schools are safe, to do educational programs for church safety, to keep those places safe, and then primarily to enhance our drug efforts is to look for ways to better arrest drug dealers. One of the things we've not been able to do because of financial issues that we're working on is to develop a drug or a canine program that will allow us to go out when we stop traffic that we suspect there are drugs in, but we don't have necessarily the right to get into at this time, that with the drug dog we can actually improve on that and we can actually make it better and create a situation where we can reduce the amount of drugs that are even on the roads. That's our goal, is to stop the crime. Our goal is to stop the problems. Our goal is to keep the people safe. And every day that we get up, every officer we've got and myself go out every day to address that. Last year we had 259 drug-related charges on people. This year up to this date we've had 65 drug-related charges. So we're doing everything we can, but the drug dogs and the ability for us to enhance our efforts will make it better.
Charlie Ward. The thing I would like to work on is getting the jail to where it will support itself. The size of the jail we have got can't support itself. It takes 119 paying inmates to support the jail, and we just have 79 beds. I would work with Frankfurt, any grant or anything is possible. I'd like to see the jail up to 150 capacity. It would support itself. We'd have so much more people out here to work in the community. It would just be a win-win for Jackson County. That was something that I wasn't involved when it was built, but that was something that we ought to paid more attention to at that time. But if we could get the jail to support itself, would take a big burden off of Jackson County.
Repeat the question, please.
The question is, the office which you are seeking has a list of duties. In the business world, we call that list of duties a job description. Most of the time, this job description contains the minimum duties required to get the job done. Considering that you will do all of the minimum and expected duties, what is the one thing that you would add to your duties that would give added value to Jackson County?
I think it would be honesty and respect to the inmates and to the parents that come for visitations to their loved ones, either their child their mom or dad or whatever, to be treated with respect beyond and above the cause. And to also show them that I'm talking about respect from you if they will show you respect. And I think that a lot of times that if you show someone that you care, and I'm not talking about favoritism, I'm talking about just show them respect, that they will respect you more all the way through. Thank you.
I guess the added value to the position will be after the incarcerated is let out, keep a check on them. I talked to a lady the other day. She had been incarcerated in jail and talked to her. She has got a job. She's supporting her family. And she said that the employees went above and beyond at the detention center already and guided her and gave her a point of view that she normally wouldn't have had. So she's out providing for her family now, working every day. I believe in being firm, fair, and consistent. Treat everybody with respect, and you'll gain respect. One thing that I would like to see and try to do, not only just for the incarcerated, but also just here in the county period, is get jobs for them. Because if we have some that's just in there for non-payment of fines or in there for child support, if we can get those jobs, get them jobs to where they can go out and work, and the detention center take 50% off the top and put that toward their court cost and restitution and child support, jail take 30% and put that into their general budget, give 10% to the inmate for their commissary, that way they can buy stuff that they need, and then take 10% and put that in a savings account, and once they get released, then possibly have a little bit of money to where they can get out here and go back and forth to work.
Well, I think, as I said, being a friend, once they get out, we got to realize that they're not just there for they may be there for a temporary time, but if all we do is house them, lock them up and let them go, I don't think we've done our duty. I also think a couple things I was thinking about. To be a jailer, if we just do the minimal things, we'll just be a minimum jailer. But I thought, possible from day one, I would love to learn every job in that jail, whether it be in the kitchen, whether it be booking them in, whether it be a supervisor's job, whether it be a captain's job. As jailer, I would like to learn every job in that jail. If someone can't come in, maybe they need the evening off. I've already talked to my family, wouldn't be above anything to maybe fill that shift for them. And the only way I can do that is if I know the job and know the requirements that they are. So anything I've ever done, I've probably never been the best at anything I ever done, but I always wanted to do my best at it. And there's a lot of promises we can make that would probably fall short. But one promise I do make is this, that I will work as hard as possible to make that jail and to make our community a better place. And I think by knowing every job in that jail, be able to do every one of those jobs, I think it not only would help the jail, but it help the workers also.
Well, Brian's absolutely right about that. Knowing every job in the jail would definitely make you a more efficient jailer. I think that having opportunity for jobs once they leave, like I said before, I've been working with the job shop, and I'm sure that other agents will follow suit and coming to the county and offering them jobs and offering people in the community jobs as well. I want to make sure that they've got a foot out there, that they can further their education. I think a lot of the education is a root cause as to the problems that they have to begin with. You take somebody that's not graduated from high school, they're having issues finding a job in this day and time. If we can further their education, get them a GED, put them through a college or something like that, give them the tools in order to do something once they get out. I'd like to see in-school programs figure out something we can put on that maybe we can address the issues before they become an issue in the future. Show children, that the things that can be wrong and things that they shouldn't do once they grow up an adult, and show them some responsibility. I'd also believe that follow-up is a big portion of that, following up on your inmates that's left and things like that. I want them to have a form of accountability. I don't want them to feel good about themselves when they come back and they look at me and my staff. I want them to feel like they're looking at their daddy. I know when my daddy looked at me when I did something wrong, that was probably the worst feeling in the world and taught me more about life than anything else.
Well, I'd have to say that to go above and beyond the office of the regular duties of the jailer would have to be where I'm a bus driver. I hate to keep throwing that up, but I've seen problems on different levels other than law enforcement. We're the first person that a child sees of a morning and usually the last that it sees of a night sometimes. And in order to improve and go above your duties, you have to educate them as to what not to do, as previously been said. And I've already spoke with some retired teachers, and they've agreed to help me with these kids in jail that might not have graduated, and they will help further get their GEDs and go that far. And counseling for the students now would be a big help. You got to provide counselors for these students, and I think if you get out here and work with the kids and mingle with the youth, then you're educating them as to you don't want to go to jail, and that would be a big opportunity for them to understand that that's not the way of life, is to help them get educated and know not what to do. Also, I think it would be important for every elected official to contribute some portion as to working with the Board of Education and getting a security guard in each and every school out of their own salary. That's one thing that I plan to do.
This question will be directed to the sheriff's candidates. And we'll start with Tim Fee. Tim, a lot of people have the idea that the use of illegal drugs is Jackson County's biggest problem. Also, a lot of people think that the sheriff's office should be primary for fighting this epidemic. Would you give us your perspective of where the sheriff fits in when taking on the task of fighting the use of illegal drugs in Jackson County?
The sheriff should be the main head of what the investigation is. He needs to know what's going on. He needs to know what his deputies is doing. He should be a leader in this effort, this war. Where I've been out in the county campaigning, that's been one of the biggest concerns out there. I myself, I never would ask the deputies to do something I wouldn't do. I have crawled through these thickets at night, copperhead infested places, just to get to these people. I devoted myself to take that stuff down, this meth labs, and I'll do that now. I know I've got old and fat, but that's all right. I can waller them bushes down just the same, but I can get in there and I can do it. I got confidence in myself, and the people has confidence in me. That is one of my biggest goals, is to try to solve the drug problem here in Jackson County.
Well, the drug problem is a serious problem in our county. We all know that. The drug problem has been evolving for as long as I can remember. It's gone from pills to cocaine to heroin to meth to crystal meth. A lot of the things that went on 10 years ago are no longer an issue because the culture has changed, and that's just a normal thing. But the law enforcement part of that is all of our duty. We all work together. Every trooper, every constable, every deputy, and myself works every day to try to address the drug problem in our county. We do that through a lot of different ways. Some of these ways are traffic enforcement, where we stop cars that might be for a legitimate reason, may have some drugs in them. We may get drugs off people. We charge people for that. Many of these cases are investigations that take place. The days of meth labs where you could smell them and they were there is few and far between compared to how they used to be. And that's good. I'm glad of that. But we still have a lot of meth problems in our county, crystal meth in particular. And the crystal meth problem is something we have to work on. We do that through long-term investigations with utilizing informants, investigative cases, taking those things to the grand jury and making cases every day. And we constantly are working on making it better. And the people out in the community know that we are addressing those problems everywhere we go. But it does take time.
This question is for the Office of the Constables. And Steve, we'll start with you. What could the 3 constables in Jackson County do as a team that would cause Jackson County to say, wow, that was our constables at work?
As I stated earlier, our working together right now, I hope a lot of people's already said that. I really do, because we've accomplished some good things, some great things. And Bill Buck, Johnny Peters, and myself, we worked together on many things. We backed each other up. Just a few nights ago, I was in Bill Buck's area in his district, Johnny Peters and myself, to back up state police and sheriff's department that was there and had numerous folks with drugs, warrants, and a house full. And on occasion, many occasions, we do that. And we've made, as I stated earlier, a chain is no stronger than its weakest link. In all these offices, whatever it be, you know, we work together. As I stated earlier, again, the judge's office takes care of our vehicles. They give us the money and the tires to keep this thing going. And we've tried to be professional in our actions as well as our appearance. Tried to treat people fair. Tried to respond to everything. And again, work together. And I would hope we've already had some rave reviews for that, because we've tried we've gave it our best. I will say that. Thank you.
Like you said, we all work together every day. And a lot of times nighttime is when you'll see your constables out the strongest. Which, like I said, it's when the county needs patrolling more. Yeah, Steve and Johnny came back to us with the sheriff's department, with the city police. All came together. And it's just like a lot of times we'll have roadblocks and it'll just be the constables, or it'll be a constable in city, or it'll be sheriffs and constables. We all work together to make a big difference. And we're on a tight budget. And Steve, as well as Johnny, also, sometimes our budget don't stretch all the way like it should. And we dish it out of our pocket to continue on. Sometimes a month, $400 just don't go very far. When that's your fuel reimbursement, it's not a paycheck, it's a reimbursement.
He'll get together with the other constables, go out to the ballpark and hang out with a bunch of kids, play basketball. Get involved with the younger kids more than what the law enforcement is now. You don't never see a young bunch of kids hanging out with law enforcement. Nowhere around here. Go to Lexington. Ballparks in Lexington, you'll see a lot of cops hanging out at the ballparks. Let's get some of that here.
When I was a kid in school, we used to have an officer come to school all the time. It was the DARE program. You don't hear kids talking about it no more. Us 3 constables could visit these schools, talk to them about drugs and relieve some parents too, about these guns all the time everybody's talking about. If the constables would get together and just go visit these schools, it'll ease parents' minds, it'll ease children's minds.
Thank you. This question is going to be directed at the entire group again, and we'll start with Charlie Ward. Charlie, it is my opinion that every citizen has responsibility to community, Some of us do more, some of us do less. In your opinion, what is community service, and how have you personally been involved in serving your community?
Community service is anything you do in your community, county, or state to help somebody. I started out when I was 16 years old with the Pond Creek Fire Department. Still there as president, as a board member. I've served every position, captain, assistant chief, chief for 8 years. But anything that you do in your community to help improve it or to help someone else is community service. I've been involved in a lot of organizations, done private organizations to help them get off the ground. Anything that I hear going on in the county, I try to get out and support it. Anything to do with the county. I'm on the board of directors of the Cattlemen Association, and we try to do anything we can in that to help these young farmers. Is there a big goal right now to get them started through the cattle and farming business to keep them occupied and keep them off the drugs. And we built a multi-purpose building at our church, and I'm wanting to get started and try to have one night a week there that I go and monitor that building and have the young children to come in and play basketball, volleyball, or whatever to keep them off the streets. But that's my goal right now, is to get the multi-purpose one room one night a week there at church and try to get the kids in there, and maybe we can educate them for the better.
Like I said earlier, I've worked out of state and town for 45 years. I've not done a lot of community service other than with the boys that I have hired from here in the county. And a lot of them, like I said, were addicted. And it helped them. I think that would be bringing something back to the community if they were rehabilitated and back on their own, taking care of themselves and their family. That's the only thing that I can say that I have done community-wise, but that's also through going 45 years to Lexington. That's not been seen by anyone here other than the people that I have worked. And that's the only thing that I've done since I got out of high school.
In 1997, I joined Pond Creek Fire Department over at Danville, and I went through the ranks over there as lieutenant and assistant chief. In 2004, we set out, and I reached out to the community, people here in the county, for grant money in 2004 and in 2005. The first one in 2004 was for equipment, turnout gear, stuff like that, which was about $100,000 worth, like 90-something. In 2005, working with the same people out in the community, and pretty much what I done was the runner, and I got her information fax. We sat down, we wrote another grant, and we was awarded $181,000 over there for a fire truck, which is still in service here in the county. So, you know, reaching out like that, community service, we have people that is willing to help. I also don't only do community service here. I teach for State Fire Rescue, and where I do there is I teach fire classes throughout the state. We have 7 counties, 64 fire departments. And anytime that you can take the skills that you learn when you as a volunteer and put to a career, you can actually put that to work in other areas and learn somebody something to be safe or keep somebody safe, goes a long way. One thing I like to see here in the county is recruitment for our volunteers. They're coming few and far between. That keeps insurance rates down, and that gives these kids something to do.
Well, I've had the privilege to live here all my life, to work in this county all my life, and once I was saved at 21 years old, I've spent the last 20 years of my life doing a lot of volunteer work. Pastoring a church is a lot of volunteer work. I've been blessed to help with the Lord's Gym. They got that started. Watched the gym, opened the gym, closed the gym. Sometimes spent most of my evenings at the gym. different things, especially even in our church. I found out that by myself I can't do a whole lot of things. I've tried it, and most of the time I failed. But when I worked with someone who had better knowledge, more talents, I don't have a whole lot of those talents, but I've been blessed with a whole lot of friends that do. We have come together with a small group at church before. We've put roofs on homes, put heat and air systems in homes. We've come together to the broken, put the pieces back together, and seen their life change. And I can tell you, as a volunteer, it pays a whole lot more than having a job. If you work and you get a check, sometimes you complain about what you made. But when you volunteer and you come together and you work together and you see homes restored, lives restored, smiles on people's faces, that's worth more than any check. So being a volunteer and volunteering in things in my community has made me a better person. I don't know if it helped anybody else, but it's made me a better person.
Well, like I said, I was a volunteer firefighter for Pond Creek Fire Department for nearly 10 years. I've done a lot of roadside pickup with various different agencies around. I see somebody on the side of the road broke down, I'll try my best to stop and help. You're liable to see me do things like that any time. Outside of the county, I work in Laurel County. I've had the opportunity to help many people that's come through drug court and things like that, that's come in through the job shop and other temporary agencies, and been able to help push them through and get them a job and get them to doing something that they can make a better life at, and try to support them in doing these things. I've always been a friend to anybody that needed one. Anytime somebody's needed to talk, they've always been welcome to do so. I've helped a lot of friends. I've helped a lot of family. I've got family that's had drug issues, so I've had experience with trying to help and persuade and cry and gripe and everything else, trying to get somebody to change. But I feel community service is something that everybody has a little bit of responsibility in. Everybody has a responsibility to get out here and help your neighbor and check on your neighbor. Everybody has a responsibility to keep all the elected officials in check. But everybody has a responsibility to the community, no matter how small. Each person in the community matters.
Could you repeat the question, please?
The question is, it's my opinion that every citizen has responsibility to community. Some of us do more, some of us do less. In your opinion, what is community service, and how have you personally been involved in serving your community?
Well, community service includes everyone. I've not done a whole lot as far as community service. I have picked up some trash on the side of the road with some volunteer groups. During the winter months, when it's hard for elderly to get out, I'll check on some of them, maybe see if they need their prescriptions or whatever. But it is a group effort from everybody to do a community service. That's everybody's responsibility, and I feel we all need to do it to pull together to make Jackson County a stronger county and a better place for our children to grow up.
Okay. Let's move over to Devin Rose with the same question. It is my opinion that every citizen has responsibility to community. Some of us do more, some of us do less. In your opinion, what is community service, and how have you personally been involved in serving your community?
Community service is just helping everybody that you can help. Me and my kids here, there's a creek down there below our house, and it is a place where they go down there and do their drugs, throw their trash and stuff out, and there's a lot of elderly people get water down there. And we go down there all through the summer, clean it up. I even took needles to Billbuck. I mean, we've picked, it's just all kinds of stuff you wouldn't believe. Duck Moore's wife was down there last year picking stuff up. We done cleaned the creek up for them, but community service can go in different directions. I mean, we help out with neighbors anytime they need it. We're all big neighbors there. I mean, we got cattle, my neighbors got cattle, and the one up the road's got cattle. If they get out, we all get together and help each other. So.
Like he said, helping neighbors and stuff out. I've been on Sand Gap Fire Department going on 4 years. I enjoy that. That's pretty much what I've done for the community, I guess. Spending my time with the fire department and stuff, and helping through the fire department. We do fundraisers and stuff like that through them, and deal with the community. But that's so far as what I've got to do.
Community service would be doing any service for the community that would benefit it or help it. It's regular. I get calls about drug paraphernalia, needles, and stuff like that. I go around picking up all the time. I keep a sharps container in my vehicle just for that. You never know what kind of service you'll be asked to do. I was on duty 3 nights ago and got a call. Guy wouldn't go in his house because he seen a snake go through the front door. That's community service. Go get it out. The community service also would be every night when we get out here and we make these traffic stops, we don't know what we're stopping. Who knows? You're putting your life on the line. That's a community service.
As Bill Buck stated, other than what we're doing right now, as a community service and, dedicating many hours to it, I have my career with the railroad kept me away all of my career. I was out of the county every week, all week. But since I have been back, actually a while before too, I grow a lot of garden stuff. I share it with old folks. I share it with friends, neighbors, just about anybody that wants it. A lot of things. Grow a lot of garden, put a lot of effort, a lot of time in, a lot of sweat. But and I get a blessing out of that, sharing it with folks. I do. Old folks, people that used to like to tend gardens that's not able to no more, less fortunate, and just friends, church friends. My pastor, I keep him in a lot of garden stuff, and do some volunteer work too for some widow women in the community. We've put floors in their house. We've put bathrooms in for them, fixed fences around their yard. Done some of that too, but I guess the biggest thing I could do is probably share my gardens with the community.
Paul Hayes, same question.
Anything we can do to support our community to make it a better place is community service. We've done a lot of that my entire life through law enforcement service. In 2003, I sat on the first drug court panel that was in this area, and I'm still sitting on them today. We don't get paid for that, but we do it because we want to help these people that are struggling with addiction. We started a Stuff the Cruiser program when I came into office, and the reason for that is because I know there's a lot of kids out here in this county that may not have any Christmas presents if they're not given some from some other people. So we work with a lot of people in the county to make that happen. We started a Cowboy Up for Christ program in 2003 when we realized that there are things that we need to do in our county to give children the opportunity to grow up safe and sound and staying away from drugs. So we've done that. The PAID program that's involved in our county, we spend a lot of time working with that to reduce the illegal drugs and just to share God's love with people. We donate to the food bank and to the cancer drive, and we do Unite vouchers to try to help these people that need treatment to get the treatment they need. We support Chad's Hope and Best Blessing and non-residential treatment programs in the county to try to make it better. We support the Shriners Hospital, and we do everything in our power to try to make Jackson County a place where people are proud to live, and I'm proud to be a part of that myself.
Well, I've been very active and involved with my church. Really tonight I was supposed to be at a church playing music. We sing at a gospel band, and we go to different churches. And needless to say, that didn't work out. We canceled. I've been involved with my wife through the Cancer Society with the Festival of Hope our band has. We play there every year for them. We've put on motorcycle rides to raise money for for the Cancer Fund. We've raised money, ATV rides for raising money for churches. We've raised, had motorcycle rides raising money for St. Jude's Hospital, helping the little children. Also, like Steve was saying over there a while ago, I raise a community garden. You know, I share everything with everybody in the community that needs, they come out and get them. Not only that, I share with the deer population too. It's hard to keep something there for them. But it's like Paul said, anything you do down here to improve your community and to help others, I think that's what we need to do, is lend a helping hand and don't expect nothing back. Let it come from the heart. You know, if you're expecting something back and you're doing it, you're in the wrong business to begin with. I suggest do it from the heart. Thank you.
Okay, this question is for the office of jailer. And we'll start with Junior on this one. Junior, we've always heard of the shortfall of money to run the jail. The jail will never be self-sustainable, financially speaking. Do you believe these statements, and do you have plans and ideas of how to help this issue?
Yes, I believe that eventually it will never be self-sustainable, but I do believe you can fix and cut in on the budget and cut it down to where people can understand where their taxes and stuff are being spent. In fact, I have copies of the ledger and the audits and stuff up here that people are welcome to look at any time, even after the meeting. Things that can be cut back, the waste that can be cut, yeah, you can make a big difference in how the money is spent at the jail and make it a better facility for the county.
I don't rightly know that the jail will ever be self-sustainable in the form that it is now. There's been several states, counties, places all over the world that's tried to do this, and I don't know that anybody's really had any luck. What we can do is look at where we can cut the fat at. We can look at where we outsource anything. We can look at where we budget things, where we can get the best price for anything that we're going to have to pay for. We can look at any task that can be completed by an inmate or multiple tasks that can be completed by a member of staff or myself. There's many different things that we can look at as far as an idea of what we can do. Giving you something this very second, I can't. I'm not as familiar with the jail operation as a lot of people. I plan on being more familiar with it. But I believe that if we can get in there and really look at where we're spending our money at, that we can figure out how to save more and get us as close as possible to being self-sustainable.
I don't know that it can be, but I would like to think that it can be. I like to have hope that it can be self-sustainable. For one, in my life, I can't answer for everybody else. But when I don't have any hope, I tend to lose passion and care about it. But if I do have hope that it's possible, I'm going to work hard to do it. I do know the best way to save money is not to waste money. I also know, like everybody else in this building, everybody in this community, as you get out and knock on doors and you talk to people, that's the number one thing that I have asked and tried to seek out. And it's no doubt you have got to get as many state inmates. That's the only ones that's going to pay anything that you're going to get any money from in that jail as possible. Now, I know some say that you can't override the jail, but if by looking and seeing and checking around, most jails in the state of Kentucky do put a little more in there than what they're supposed to hold. And one of these days, believe this or not, we will pay that jail off. And that's a big debt on it monthly, I'm sure. Once that's paid off, that's going to take a big debt out of the way. And I can't make you promises, as I said earlier, that I cannot keep. I don't know. I've not done it. I've not been in there. But I promise you that I will work with everything in me to save as much money as possible and make that jail not a burden on our county, but something we can look at and be well pleased. And with hard work, I think it is possible we can do that.
Well, to make the detention centers more self-sustainable, is going to be a hard job and a hard task for all of us. We're all going to have to work together to do that. If we can, we're going to have to work together and try to find out some grant money and reach out there to state officials, because they're fixing to build another facility, I think, in Letcher County or somewhere, and start holding more inmates, which is going to put a hindrance on these county jails if they start taking our state inmates away. So we need to voice our opinion, especially to the state level, and say, hey, you know, this is what's going to help us keep us going. We're already paying employees, so, you know, let us take care of that, and we don't have the big burden of having to pay more taxes for a facility in the mountains somewhere than we already can possibly build on. If we can hold 10 more inmates a year, roughly, state inmates, they pay roughly $31.34 a day. It's 11,439 cents a year, let me get my math right here, $11,439 a year for each inmate, and times that by 10 extra inmates, that's $114,000 a year that we can bring into our budget. Now, if we take 50% of that, it's $57,195.50 that goes into this budget to run the jail. So I think it would help ease the burden, but we're going to have to work together to do that.
I don't know that we can, but I hope so. I sure do. But when you get in there, you have to, I don't know the programs. I don't know anything that's going on right at the time. But I'd like to work with the physical court and also the State Department and try to find out solutions to where you can cut the budget, try to get new programs in to where that you can make money for taking it down as much as you possibly can.
As the size of the jail is at this time, there are no way it can support itself. We have 79 beds at the jail. In the last 6 months, we've averaged 98 inmates per day. That's putting 20-some inmates on the floor every day. The size of the cells they are, if you put them in the floor, they're stepping on each other if you get up to 110. I've started a program now that if we do any ordering, they get me a quote, they bring the quote back to me, and I work on that quote. I've been averaging saving 15 to 20% on each order we've been making. We hired Killwell's a food provider about 3 years ago. We're paying $1.65 per meal if we're running in the 90 inmates. And that cut the budget down about $60,000 a year by going to Killwell. You're required by DOC at the jail to have a certain amount of staff on the floor per your bed allotment. There are a lot of things that people in the community don't understand and know about the jail. But I've got an open door policy. Anybody's got a question is more than welcome to come up to the jail, call me any hour of the night, and we'll try to get them an answer for it. But so right now, the size of the jail cannot support itself.
Okay, thank you. This question will be directed to the Office of Constable. And Devin, we'll start with you. One of you already mentioned this, but the office pays no salary. How would being elected to this office benefit you, and how does it benefit Jackson County?
It's not about me. It's about me trying to help my community. You know, I work for myself, so it's not about money. It's about me stepping up to the plate and trying to help every individual in that end of that county.
I'm kind of like that. I'm not looking for it to help me, other than just give me the opportunity to try to help my community more with, you know, getting out into the back roads, you know, the more secluded areas and stuff, and help with the community.
Benefit me by knowing that I was doing my part to help fight the war on drugs. Because of my children, first of all, I have 4 children. I want them to grow up in a county and a home that's safer. Little, less drugs on every corner. So we're out fighting day and night trying to fight these drugs. And it just benefits me more and the community all the way around.
Well, we talked about community service, and it's a very gratifying feeling to help people in the same respect as giving somebody some fresh vegetables from your garden. I like the feeling I get from that, and I think this job you can go above and beyond that and actually do a greater service for people than that. It's a good feeling to know that you've helped somebody that was afraid, somebody around their house, a prowler. You've stopped and assisted them beside the road, or you've just went and talked to them and helped them with a child that was a little bit out of control, or many, many things. And it's just another avenue of community service, the extended avenue of community service that is very gratifying to me, and I feel like is a great benefit to the community. Thank you.
This next question will be directed to the entire group again, and we'll start with Paul Hayes. Paul, when asked what is our biggest problem, the standard answer has always been, it's the drug problem. We need more higher paying jobs. We've got to fix education. If you're realistic, these problems that I just mentioned will never be fixed. What problem do you think, by working together with your office, that we can make a real difference for Jackson County and its citizens?
You're right, there are problems out there that we're always going to have. And those problems are always going to be changing a little bit as time goes on. One problem changes somewhat, leads to another problem. But the thing we have to do is we have to keep doing everything we can to address the moral and the ethical dilemma that we have in our society, so that we can change the attitudes of the public, so that people learn to do the right thing the right way. That takes our churches working with us, our schools working with us, our law enforcement pulling together, our community leaders pulling together, our county leaders pulling together, and everybody working to make a single message that we want our county to be a place where we can be proud, where we can raise our children in a safe environment, where they can be expected to get a good education, and where they can grow up to be good, honest, tax-paying citizens. That comes from everybody working together, for all of us pulling together. And it takes a lot of strength and a lot of work from our officials and our church leaders and our community leaders to make that happen. But it's possible, because we still live in a world that's free. We still have a God at the helm, and all these things that we talk about are possible if we're willing to try. And the biggest thing we can do is do our best every day to make our county better.
My hero. No, I believe in unity. We need to get out and talk with our public. Number one, show interest in our people, what the solution problems are. Get their opinions of the solutions. Get everybody involved in this. Not only your law enforcement agencies, get the general public involved with this. Yes, educate our youth on the drug situations. My biggest thing is, and I think our court system is just too lenient on these people, and it's not just one individual. We talk about rehabilitate. I'm for rehabilitating people. There's people that's good children out here who's got involved in drugs and they need help. But there's people still being rehabilitated that I arrested 10 years ago. It's time to stop. It's time to put these people in jail. That's one way we're going to start combating drugs. Show them that we mean business. Clean our streets. And I don't know, it just is, not only the drugs, it's the thefts that's out here. You know, people are so unsatisfied or unhappy with all this. You know, you work hard for what you get. You come home from a hard day's work and see your home has been vandalized, burglarized, your business has been broke into. I mean, it's time to stop. Let's jail these people.
Devin, let's move to you with the same question.
Hello. What was the question again now?
The question is, when asked what is our biggest problem, the standard answer has always been, it's the drug problem, or it's we need more good paying jobs, or we've got to fix the education system. If you're realistic, these problems that I just mentioned are never going to be fixed. What problem do you think that Jackson County has that working with your office and other elected offices that we can make a real difference for Jackson County and its citizens?
It starts with our youth. We need to work with them more and educate them more, you know, put it into them that they can do better than we can. You know, go shoot for higher goals. Don't just settle for anything. And, you know, I preach that with my boys all the time, you know, don't shoot for this, shoot for this. And, you know, educate them about these drugs. You know, there's a lot of innocent kids that's hung in homes and stuff that they didn't choose to be there, you know, and so we could work with the school systems and stuff, you know, and watch them over them. You know, there's kids that goes home hungry of a night. There's kids that goes to school without shoes and clothing. You know, we could help them there. You know, it's about our youth. Every bit of it is. We need to take care of them.
You know, you're saying if elected, those stuff can't be fixed, won't be fixed. Well, let's work on getting the respect of the community.
First of all, we've got to keep doing the war on drugs. It's not going to stop. Yes, we can hinder it. We can slow it down. We can make a difference. It's not realistic to say it can be stopped, I'll agree. But until the courts hand down stiffer laws and stiffer judgments, there's not a lot of it going to change other than us trying our best to fight it.
Well, I agree with what some of the others have said. We can't let up. You know, we spot check, road check. The drug problem is a problem. Everybody's doing everything they can to alleviate that. We hop road checks around the afternoon, at night, various places, you know, stay 30, 40 minutes in a spot, move it around. But, you know, education, professionalism in these offices, cooperation, working together with every office in this county, you know, seems like the only publicity we ever get is something every time something bad happens, you know. So I think these offices, I think they are professional, you know. We've come a long way, and we want to promote Jackson County as being professional people that hold these offices that are going to work together. And as law enforcement, we're going to do our job to make the roadways safe. A safe community can attract people. It can attract industry, professionalism, cooperation. You know, people getting along good is a plus, a win-win when any industry or any jobs venture could be looking into our county. Thank you.
Charlie Ward.
Well, the main thing is everybody get involved. Nobody can do much on their own, but if everybody will stand up for what's right and band together, we can make a big difference in this community. If everybody here in this room tonight would band together and set their foot down, they could make a difference on tomorrow. It's just everybody working together. There's no one person that can solve it on their own, but we've got to stand up for what's right. Everybody needs just to work together, and teamwork is the main thing.
The way I look at it, we're not the judge or the jury. We're the holder. And we're to educate them as good as we can, show them respect, And if you don't show respect, you'll never gain respect from them. But if it, and any kind of drug rehab or whatever that you could get someone in to help their life, if you just help one, there's no way that you'll help them all. But if you just help one person, it's worth it all. That's the way I look.
First off is we need to try to be proactive, not reactive. So by implementing teleworks here has put some people back to work in our communities and in different counties. So if we're drawing people in like that, we have PRTC here who I hear all the time has real fast internet, and we use that to our advantage. So that could be a draw for our county. We got fiber now to the home and to the workplace. So that makes it a little bit more attractive. If we can get those type of places in here and we can get this rehabilitation for our inmates and get them out to work, and they're starting to put county back into our money back into our community by the payroll tax. This will help offset the budget too. The other thing too is we got to gain community trust. Other than that, you know, we got to treat every dime as like we ain't getting none tomorrow. So we got to make sure we stretch every penny. And by making everything attractive and pulling in businesses, we can get education in here to the schools and also into the community for the incarcerated and the ones that are out here on the drugs.
Well, no doubt we all know jobs and drugs, as you mentioned. If it was just a drug problem, we'd all be addicts. But I think a lot of it is a self problem, self-respect problem. A few missed bills here and there, a few house payments, electric bills, they get down on themselves. As a pastor, I've talked to people. They couldn't find jobs and told me, you know, I'll probably go back to my old lifestyle. And I was talking to my wife earlier today, and then someone else had mentioned it to me. We have the absolute best internet service anywhere in this world. I talked to a lady that she had visited over in California, and she said, you know, we have better internet service than they do. And the reason I bring that up is there are so many opportunities and so many jobs. We probably won't ever have a Toyota or a Kroger or a big factory here that's going to pay $25 an hour, but due to the things, the internet services, the jobs that are online, those things can help our community. And I think it brings a little bit of self-respect back. And they always say if you don't have no self-respect, nobody else is going to respect you either. But those things are probably always going to be a problem. But if we do work together, educate, get people to learn how to understand and to work a computer and get these online jobs, and I think it does benefit them. And not only does it benefit them, but it benefits our whole community.
So you mentioned the problems that we've got, you know, the things that we're always going to have. You're always going to have a problem with higher paying jobs. Everybody always needs more money. Everybody needs a better education. And when you deal with a lot of problems over and over and over and over, you begin to become complacent with it. You accept that that's as good as it's ever get. We don't need to accept that that's as good as it's ever get. We've always got to try to continuously improve ourselves and our community and the environment in which we live in. That's one thing that I really believe in. That's one thing I really try to live by. I never settle for yesterday was good enough or today's okay. Tomorrow's going to be better. I think keeping a positive attitude in this community is something that will improve it also. You can't let the negativity bring you down. You can't say, well, I'm over here and I've had this drug problem and I just feel like I'm never going to do no better. People's going to look at me funny. If you have that kind of attitude, and if we can't change that kind of attitude, that's exactly what we're going to continue to have. Those are the things that we need to look at as a community and a county and as any elected official that's in this room.
Well, I would have to say education would be the start of the problem. You got to get education to everybody from 4-year-old on up to 104-year-old or however the oldest citizen is in Jackson County. You need to get community involvement. Teach them to teach their children that, you know, things like drugs and wrongdoings are not the way to go. that will stop. Well, it won't stop. Like you say, there's no way to ever stop it. But that will make a dent in the drug problem. And when you make a dent in the drug problem and people have a better self-esteem, like these gentlemen have said, then they can get out and find jobs and they can do better. The internet, yeah, the internet's a great thing, but I also think that a lot of the problem is the fact that people spend more time on the internet than they do communicating with the person out in the real world. Yeah, it's great to get on there, see if you can find a job. It's great to, be on there for a little bit. But get out and communicate with your people in the community and see what the problem is and ask them personally how you deal with it, or can you better educate yourself in this situation, or can you talk to your kid, or will you talk to my kid, or work with the group as a whole in a community, not just try to figure out how to do certain things through the internet.
Back to Brian Gabbard, I believe everything that we have here is better than what they've got in California.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
Going to a question from the audience, and this is directed to the sheriff's candidates. If elected, would you hire a POPS certified female deputy?
We'll go first.
Tim?
Yes. Yes, I sure would. Matter of fact, I had female deputies over here working for me before. A female can be a great asset for you out here in this law enforcement, which Paul will tell you the same thing. You'll be out here at times where you'll have a bunch of females in custody. Well, civil reason, it's not polite for a man to try to frisk her, number one. It would be mighty handy to have her in that. And not only that, they're just different situations a woman can come in handy for as in law enforcement.
I'd love to have a female officer that is POP certified. We have a female officer that works at our court security right now, and we're always looking for females to fill those roles. They're just as valuable as the males. We're happy to have them. We just want people, the main thing we want is we want people that are honest, have integrity, and will do the job. And whether they're a female or a male, I'd be happy to have a female at any time to work in my office.
Thank you. This is a question directed to the jailers. And we'll start with you, Junior. At the end of your first term as jailer, what can you say was your number one accomplishment?
Well, I would like to think that my number one accomplishment would be to have, like I say, better educated the community and the children growing up in it on the drugs, and help them to further their futures, getting a job, well-paying job, being productive in their life, and understanding family values.
I would like to think that at the end of my first term, I would have gotten done a better rehabilitation program. I would have improved the community through this rehabilitation program. I would have put more inmates to work. I would have improved the budget and got us much closer to being self-sustainable as possible. My main goal in all this is to improve the community. I look at my children and I see the world that they're growing up in, and I see how the world is currently and how it has been in the past compared to when I growed up. And I know in 30 years it's likely to be a whole lot worse than it is now. And I feel like if I don't get out there and act upon this and try to improve it, that it's not going to get any better. And I don't want my children or anybody else's children having to grow up like that. I'd like to see us get rid of a lot of drug issues and crime issues, and they all go hand in hand. I mean, you get out here and somebody gets addicted to drugs, they're liable to start stealing and stuff like that. And if we don't address these kinds of things, we'll never get no better. But I think if we can dedicate ourselves to better rehabilitation issues, whether it be mental health issues, whether it's anger issues, whether it's I've not got a job, I don't have the education to get a job. I mean, not everybody wants to work at McDonald's. And if they don't try to better themselves somewhere or another, they're going to end up being in menial jobs and not being able to hold it down. And I think at the end of my first term that I believe that I will have improved those situations dramatically.
Well, I've got a whole lot of them, but I'll try to choose one. And I would hope that the number one thing at the end of my term, as they said, someone mentioned earlier, if you can change one person's life, I have nothing to hide, and this is the number one reason that I'm doing what I'm doing. If you can change one person's life, be a light, show them they can be a difference made in their life through Jesus Christ, I have nothing to hide. This is my number one goal. Then you've changed the whole family. You've changed the community. You've changed the neighborhood. I have 3 people that I know of right at the top of my head in my church. One of them was the number one meth maker in the county. Another young girl is what she would call herself a needle junkie. Another one, what he called himself, a pillhead. Today, they've been changed and they've been free of drugs for 8 years. You can throw out all you, and this may not be popular, but you can put all your programs and all your government assistance and all the budgets and all the money into play. But the number one reason when I end that term, I hope and I pray that somebody can walk out of that place and say, that man made a difference in my life, he made a difference in my family, and he made a difference in my children. I've got a father that most of it, he's gone on. I'll try to hurry, but I hear people tell me he was my school bus driver, he was my baseball coach, he gave me a chocolate milk. I told my wife, I said, if you want to make a difference in somebody's life, you do that in a child. And the best way to make a difference in a child's life, get their parents straight, change their life, and have a better family, a better home, better community.
Well, my number one accomplishment at the end of my term would be to look back and hopefully improve someone's life as well. Famous words of my mother would be, you don't want to go back, don't look back. Keep faith, keep moving on. So if we don't look back, we won't go back. If we set goals and set accomplishments, we'll end up being a better person at the end, as long as we surround ourselves with better friends. And checking on, anybody who has been through that jail or anything, they can look at the staff of the jail and say, they are the ones who made a difference in my life.
I would like to say that when I end my term, to have a better jail, a better budget, to change as many lives as I possibly could, and to always be fair and honest in everything, and do the best job, or have done the best job that I possibly could.
Well, I would hope to improve it enough to get it to where it's self-sufficient. That's what I've worked at for the last 7 years. And what the state keeps telling us is that we got to have county inmates to be overcrowded. We can't do it for revenue. But that's what I would work on continuously, and hopefully in the end of the term that we could be in a better shape with our finances for the county, and to treat everyone with fair and with respect, and do anything we can to make the county better.
Thank you. We're going to address this next question to the entire group, and we'll start with Steve Gill and just come across the board. Do you consider the office that you are seeking as a job, or do you consider it an opportunity to serve the people? Please explain your answer.
Absolutely, it's an opportunity to serve the people, because as Bill Buck stated a while ago, this is absolutely a free job. I mean, it is a community service, so it's pretty easy to explain, why we're here. It's because we're concerned about our community. We like to help people. We want to make things better. We want to make things safer, and it gives that added advantage, the added advantage of having law enforcement closer in every community. I think that's probably the original, maybe reason constables were in the beginning brought about, is it just puts somebody closer to the people, and getting back to the to the reasons, it's absolutely a commitment to serve your community and make your community a safer, better place to live.
It's definitely not the job. It's opportunity, without a doubt. It's the opportunity to make a difference in each community, no matter what part of the community. It don't matter if it's making a difference on helping somebody elderly, or helping a child, or helping somebody that's perfectly fine, or helping right down to a drug addict. You can also help them just as much as anybody.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to help with your community, like they said. You know, if you help the elderly or the drug addict, go help a kid, whatever. It's an opportunity to be the one to get to go help them.
I really can't say nothing, and I agree with everything they've said, right down to the helping the drug dealers or drug addict or whatever you want to call it. But I will say this: there's a lot of good people out there that's hung on this stuff that just needs a little encouragement behind them. You know, just somebody to talk to. So you know that would be a big plus too.
Tim.
Are we ready to roll? I'll say you got me too loud now. I'll say it's an opportunity, and I ain't gonna lie, it's a job too. I've eaten snowballs for 8 years. I need income. I ain't gonna lie about it. But my biggest thing is opportunity. I enjoy helping people. You know, it's a good feeling to come in, lay down, your head down on the bed at night, knowing that you've reached out here and you've touched somebody, you've helped somebody in some way, whether it be child abuse victim, whether it be a elderly abuse or a drug addict or somebody's had their stuff stolen. It is an honor to get out to serve the people, and when you know that you've done something that touched them in some way, it's very rewarding within. So yes, it's a big opportunity for old Tim.
I consider it a blessing to have the chance to serve the public. I can think of nothing that I enjoy more than being a police officer. This has been my lifelong dream. I never wanted to do anything else. And I love helping people. Yesterday I recovered, I believe it was 3 or 4 trailers and got them back to the victims. We got an air tank back to it for a victim. A couple of days ago I talked to 2 different people about getting treatment for them and helping them get lined up with some financial backing to get that done because they're struggling. They want help, but they couldn't pay for it. All these different things are opportunities to serve. It's a blessing for us to be able to serve others. You can never outgive God, folks. There's nothing you can ever do that's going to be greater than what God does for us. But the chance to really reach out and make a difference in the lives of the people that we love so dearly is a great blessing. And I'm so thankful for that chance. And I appreciate the opportunity to be your sheriff.
Well, I would have to consider it an opportunity, and I say that to have the opportunity to maybe change the lives of people as they go through life and change the way they look at the way they have to live or what's not been offered to them, and maybe help them understand that they need to get counseling, to be there for them and just help them in any way. It's an opportunity to show them that you care and to get it done and do it right.
Well, I think of it as an opportunity to serve the people. I've got a job now. Pays pretty decent. I don't need another job. What I do want to do, I want to get out there and improve the life of everybody that's in this room and anybody that's watching on television or YouTube or whatever this is going to be on. I want the opportunity to help your family, to help your children, and make the community better as a whole. I want the opportunity to serve the people, get our financial house in order, get our rehabilitation in order, and help as many people possibly. Thank you.
Well, I didn't run for this office because I necessarily wanted a different job or anything like that. Of course, It is a job, any of it is. And I guess I looked at things a little different before I ran. I didn't realize what a tremendous amount of pressure and stress it puts on you and your family. But the reason that I did it, more than anything, is to serve. I've been a servant most of my adult life. And I look at it as a bigger stage to serve, a bigger opportunity to serve the people that I love. As Rodney said a minute ago, there's a lot of things in this county we do not have. There's a lot of things we don't have. We have no hospitals. We have no all these big things the cities have. But sometimes I think we neglect to realize we have some of the best people in this county of anywhere I've ever been in my life. Up to I was 18-year-old, I thought I would move and get away. And then I found out I fell in love with these people. And you can't serve and you cannot be a servant to your community if you do not love those people. You'll not serve with the right heart. You'll not serve with the right passion. And if you serve only the ones with money and the ones that ain't have money, you won't serve right. Until you can look at those people when they come through that door as everybody is equal and everybody's the same, and have the love for those people as human beings, which they are, you cannot serve your community with your whole heart, and that's my plan.
This is an opportunity to reach out and help the community before anybody falls on hard times and starts the road for drug addiction or anything like that. One thing we can do is try to get in there and have the opportunity to rehabilitate, get the education out there, get these people some skills. Also educate, reach out to the community with our teachers and start education in school. Once we do that, when opportunity knocks, we need to reach out there and be willing to take time to think through that opportunity and make it a better place for Jackson County. Reaching out to the community with anybody, whether they be a pastor, anybody that might be willing to come up there and help educate and try to get somebody a GED, anything like that. This is going to be an opportunity for us, whoever is elected jailer, to reach out and make a difference in our community.
I think it would be an opportunity to be home. To where I could be around the people that I've grown up with, that I've loved all of my life, went to school with. Where I'm at now, like I said, 45 years, 25 years just working for individual contractors. And then I went on my own for 20 years just doing work like insurance work for ServPro, restoration companies. I would like to be able to work, yes. The money would be fine. I'm not saying that. I'd be lying if I said anything else. A job, but a good opportunity to be with the people of Jackson County. I'm gone at 6 o'clock of a morning, get back at, that ain't no difference than anybody else working. I'm not saying that. But to go and leave 5 to 7 days a week, leave at 6 before dark, and get back after dark. So what can you do to even see your people that you want to be around all your life? Yes, it would be an opportunity. Absolutely.
Well, it's been an opportunity for me for the last 7 years to work at the detention center to help these people. We have GED classes up there, and they'll take their class and pass their test, and you can go back there, and they're just like a young'un that's got a new toy. They said, I passed that. I can get me a job when I get out. When you have somebody that leaves up there, and they come up and shake your hands, and they thank you for making a difference in their life, it makes you feel good. All of our staff works that way, and we just try to work with everybody, and if they've got a problem, we try to work with them and help them with that problem. We've got so many different classes right now on board that can help these people, and I think it's going to make a difference in the inmates when they leave. State's got an NCR program that they got implemented now that's helping them, and we're going to get another program for anger management in. We got a contract on it right now. We just got to get signing back to the people. And I think that will make a difference and opportunity for the people.
Okay, thank you to the candidates. We're getting real close to bringing this thing to an end. We've been here almost 2.5 hours. We're going to give the candidates one last chance to make a closing statement, and we'll start with Steve Gill.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity to be here tonight, to get in front of the audience, in front of the camera. It's a good thing. It gives our message. It lets us get our message out to our voters and to see what they want to do. But I would appreciate your vote and support in the next election, May 22nd. I'd appreciate them getting ahead of myself. Appreciate your support, your vote. I'd like to build on the experience, the knowledge that I've gained working in District 2 for the last 3.5 years as constable. I'll continue to do the best I can, as I'm doing right now, I feel like. So appreciate your vote and support. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the voters of District 3 for voting me in the first time, and I'm asking them for a re-election this time. I've worked hard. I've tried my best to serve our community as best possible. Over 240-something warrants, over 300 arrests in a 3-year period, unheard of for a constable. I have really tried, and I would like to continue on trying for my district.
For the voters of District 3, I just wish for the opportunity, vote for me and give me the opportunity to try to make the difference that I think that I can make in our district. Thank you.
It will be an honor to serve my community. If you elect me, I will work for you. Just don't forget me on May 22nd. Thank you.
Well, personally, I want to thank each and every one that showed up here tonight. Mr. Christman, the Development Association. Appreciate what y'all have done here. I'm running for sheriff. It's nothing personal. Again, Paul Hayes. Paul Hayes is a good friend of mine. We've worked together, known each other for years. I want you to sit back and reflect back when I was sheriff. My record speaks for itself. Paul speaks for himself. I couldn't tell you the arrests I've made, drug-related arrests, burglary arrests, domestic violence. I'm academy trained. I was the first actual person went through the academy with the title as sheriff down here at the Department of Criminal Justice. I'm 6-year veteran military, honorably discharged as a sergeant. 9 years again, like I say, as deputy sheriff. 12 years as your sheriff. My books was tax books was perfect every year. The audit. It's like I say, our equipment I got at zero expense to the county. It's through my fee account or excess fees, and I feel it would be an honor and a privilege to serve the people of this county again. I'd be honored to. Thank you. I'm asking you for your vote, and I'd appreciate your vote.
First of all, I want to thank the public, all the people that are here tonight. I appreciate your attendance. I think it's been a really good debate. Everybody has spoken very fairly, I think, with one another. And Tim is a friend of mine. We have some differences in views of things, but I think he wants to be the sheriff, and I want to be the sheriff. I've been a policeman for 38 years. I've never had a bad mark on my record. I have held command positions with the Special Response Team, with the Post Commander with Richmond Post, Post Commander with the London Post, Commander of the Intelligence Section. I was commander of the drug enforcement effort with Unite for years. We arrested many, many, many people, and we've worked together with many, many different groups all that time. I've never had a scandal in my office. I've treated everybody with respect. I have great respect for the deputies that work for me. They're good officers. My personnel, everybody is doing the right thing the right way. We don't have all the answers, and nobody does. Things change, and we have to change with the times. but I can tell you that you can rest assured that every single day I get up and try to go to work and honor God in everything I do. And I try my best to make this county better in what I do. And I won't cheat to catch anybody, but I promise you that if someone deserves to be arrested, we will charge them. And everything is much appreciated. I ask for your vote and your support and your prayers as we try to make Jackson County a better place to live.
Junior. Go ahead, Charlie.
I'd like to thank everybody taking their time to come down to listening to everybody tonight, and everybody out there in the TV land. I don't have a bad thing to say about nobody that's running for jailer. I know most of them personally. Some of them are good friends that growed up and under me. And I just feel if you want experience, you'd vote for me. If you want to hit the ground running, I know what it was when I started there 7 years ago. It was a hassle to learn everything and to get moving. I know all the jobs up there. I'll do anything today, push a mop bucket, clean up something, to recommend whatever needs done. I mean, everybody there is that way. We work as a team, but I just think if you want somebody to hit the ground running and keep everything going, vote for me, and I appreciate you voting support.
I wish to thank everyone that's come out tonight, showed their support to us, and no, I have nothing against anyone that's running against me. But I promise to do the best of my ability to serve as your jailer of Jackson County. And I appreciate your vote and support in every way. Thank you all.
I'd love to help in a different way, out on a fire scene or out on a car wreck or anything like that. Many different type of calls. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's an hour. We get to know these people and get to talk to them. In this way, I'm hoping to be able to reach out and help in a little bit different way, in a long-term way. I'll be working for the people of Jackson County. You know, a leader, when you go out to lead somebody, you got to be the man in the front. You can't be the man in the back and just pointing fingers saying, here, let's do this, let's do that. It's let's go out here and get this done. We put our heads together, accomplish goals. Once we do that, we'll make a difference in our county. I appreciate your support on May 22nd, and please vote Charlie Russell.
Well, I'd like to thank you all also. I know it can't be easy to sit here this long and listen to us, but I do appreciate that. I like they've said, I have nothing against these men. I like them all very well. I've known most of them most of my life. I'm not running against anybody. I'm just running to be the next jailer. And I thought my uncle ran, I guess it's been 20 years ago, and I asked my dad, I said, why in the world does he want to do that? And my dad looked at me and he said, son, it just runs in his blood. And I kind of shook my head and walked off. And you know, I figured this out. It's in my blood, and I want this job. I want it with everything in me. I want to be the next jailer of Jackson County. I ask for your support. I ask for your vote. And I think you got to make an educated decision in this. You need to pray about these things. You need to look. There's plenty of good men all over this room running. But when your child is left in that jail and put behind that cell, you got to think. And it could be your child. It could be your grandchild. It could be your neighbor, somebody you grew up with. Who do you trust? Who do you want in that jail? I believe all of us will do our best to make that jail a better place. But make it an educated vote and do the right thing and vote the right way. I do ask for your vote and your support.
I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and listening to us. I thank you all for showing up. While I've got the opportunity, I really want to take this time and thank my family. They've been behind me 100%, and Brian said it earlier, this stuff like this gets rough. I've been working 12 to 14 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, plus trying to do this every chance I get, and they've been behind me 100%, so I want to take the time to thank them. On May 22nd, you folks are going to have the opportunity to have your voice heard and pick the person who you think will be best for the position they're running for. I feel tonight that I've demonstrated that I have a plan that I can put in place. I have folks dedicated already and offering to help us. I believe that I have the experience and the education to serve you folks, and I believe that given the opportunity, I'll do each and every one of you proud. And like I said, I made a video the other day and I put it on Facebook. In 4 years, if I've not done what you think that I need to do, vote my hind end out. That's what it is about. If I don't do the job that you people feel, or anybody else in this room, if they don't do the job that you feel they need to be doing, you have the opportunity to change that. But ladies and gentlemen, come May 22nd, I'd really appreciate your vote, and I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Well, like everybody else, I appreciate everybody coming out and being concerned with what goes on in the community. I'd like to think that, my 27 years of experience at one job in the community, lived here all my life, helped people from 4-year-old up to 100-year-old. There's nothing that I wouldn't do for anybody. I appreciate all these guys. Got nothing bad to say about any of them. They've all run a good, clean race, no slander. Means a lot. I was here 4 years ago. I ran against 2 other opponents. They were great people. This community is the best community that you could ever ask for. I've been to several states. We're all one big happy family, believe it or not. And however it goes, if I can help anybody in this room or any candidate running for any office, all you have to do is ask, and I'm there. I think most of them can attest to that. And like I say, on May the 22nd, I hope your heart chooses to follow me and vote for me as your next jailer. I believe I can make some differences. I've had management training, computer skills, some bookkeeping. We got to get things under control as far as the budget. And I believe that I can do that with your all's help and support. May the 22nd, vote Junior Adams. Thank you very much.
Well, I think the candidates have done a great job and deserve a round of applause. As for me, I'm going to cast a vote for every one of them. On behalf of the Development Association, it was our intent to ask questions in a manner to where that you folks could see the real candidate and what they have to offer Jackson County. Not necessarily just ask questions that's directed to the job that they're going to do in their particular office. And we hope we have done that, and we hope that you will leave more informed. With all that, that brings us to the end of tonight's forum. The Development Association hopes that you are better informed to make a decision on Election Day because what you have heard here tonight. It is your obligation as a citizen to vote, and we encourage you to do so. We also invite you to be a part of the Development Association as we meet the last Wednesday of each month at the County Extension Office. Again, thank you for being here and being a part of tonight's forum. Good night from the old courthouse in McKee.